What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today's a pretty exciting day. I've been waiting on this for a while now. Will has kindly enough offered up his Porsche to me for the weekend. I'm very excited. He said to me, Scooch, he goes, I know you haven't driven anything like this before. I mean, I've driven this car like once or twice, like very minimal, but you never really had it for an extended period of time. And he said, you know, you need to experience this car. And I know that a lot of you watching this will say, oh, but Scooch, it's just a Boxster. You know, when did you become a hairdresser? You get comments like that when you drive this car. Or one of my favorites, what does your dad do for work? Or, well, it's nice of your wife to let you take the car while yours is in the shop. I made a lot of those comments beforehand, before I actually drove one for real. And I was the one in the wrong. These cars are incredible. This is not an entry-level Porsche. I know that's what they say it is. It's not. It doesn't feel like that. Find me another sports car on the market that handles like this does. I mean, it's perfectly put together. Now, I will say I'm personally a little big for the car. I'm only 6'1", but it feels a little cramped. I'm all legs, so it feels a little cramped in there. But I mean, who am I going to complain, right? You know, look at what I'm driving for the weekend. And of course, it's 75 and sunny here for the first time all year. Perfect weekend to have it. Now, with this car, I don't think there's really much that you have to do to it to make it better than it is. I love modifying things, but I don't think there's much you can do to this car without just ruining it, to be quite honest. The simple things Will has done have just made it perfect. He put the exhaust on it. That was something that, you know, it sounded like a sewing machine. He says that all the time. Beforehand, the stock exhaust sounds like a sewing machine. It's just not a good sound. It really is a disgrace to the Porsche name. This exhaust sounds like a symphony. It's beautiful. The valves open and close on it, so you can play around with it. And if you want to be loud, it's loud. If not, you can close it and just cruise, which is nice. He put these vents on it over here on the side. There were different ones on there before. Those look pretty good, I think. And he swapped out the taillights, which I think is a good look as well. It kind of almost, the way the taillights were shaped before, it almost made the rear end look more bubbly, if that's possible. These ones kind of finished it off nicely. I think it looks pretty good. So, without any further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and take this car out. But before I do that, I'm gonna give you just a couple of quick exhaust clips, just from the back, just a pure sound. And I'm hoping that they come out good. I really do hope they come out good, because I don't know, when I did it on the Subaru before, the way the trunk is shaped, there's really no wind noise back there. This car's a different shape, so I don't know if it's gonna work, but I'm gonna try it, and I'm hoping that they come out good. And then after that, we're gonna take it for a little cruise. Stay tuned. Also, before I forget to mention, this exhaust actually went on almost a year ago to the day. And I have a video of it with some more sound clips and when he actually put it on. And Will is a little better at talking about this stuff than I am, so if you want to see like his review on the exhaust, go check it out. I'll put the link up here for you. But all right, back to it. Now, the only problem with doing these reviews in a convertible is the fact that you got to do something that I hate the most out of anything, and you got to roll the windows up. Otherwise, the camera gets a lot of wind noise in it, so that's a shame. But yeah, so this is the car. Let's get going. Now, this car in particular, I believe makes about 285 horsepower out of the factory. Will did a little light tune on it, and I think it makes a little over 290 now. Nothing crazy, but it is great for what it is. I actually thoroughly enjoy it. It doesn't need any more. It's not a straight line car by any stretch of the imagination. It is made for the twisties, and before he gave it to me, he goes, you know, you really have to work to get it to kick out. It doesn't step out on you really at all. And I haven't hit that many hard turns in it, but you know, on the ones I kind of give it a little, it just doesn't want to do it. You know, it just hugs the road really, really well. So I have no complaints on that aspect of it. But here, I'll let you kind of hear a little bit. Valves open. I haven't stopped smiling since I got into it yesterday. It's absolutely incredible. Just those light corners, you can just push it right through the corner. It's a Porsche through and through. Everyone will tell you, oh, you got to get a GT3. If you didn't buy a GT3, then you didn't buy a Porsche. That's not true. This car is incredible, and I don't know how you can even say this is a entry level. It's absolutely incredible the way it sits. It's a true sports car through and through. And between the gearbox, the changes on it, I don't know how well that camera's gonna pick it up, but I had to question if I was even in gear at some points, because it's just so short that it felt like you were going from a gear to neutral. It didn't even feel like a full throw. It was absolutely crazy. And just driving it around like this, it took a little getting used to be honest. I was actually a little thrown off by it. Now, the only real quaff I have with this thing so far is the fact that it doesn't have any way for me to plug my phone in. I gotta listen to CDs like a peasant over here. And I actually love CDs. I still listen to CDs quite a bit. But everything right down to this shift knob is great. There's like this little divot behind the shifter here, like where you put your hand and you cup it like this. There's like a little divot right there. Perfect for you to slide your finger right in there, and it sits perfectly. I don't know if that was done on purpose, where it's Porsche and it's German. I have to imagine there was probably some thought put into it, but I mean, everything right down to the shift knob is just phenomenal. It's a little tight for me in here, I will say, and you guys that have watched the channel previously, you know that I drive a Del Sol, which is a very small car. But in this car, it's a little tough for me to heel toe. I've got long legs, so I'd have to kind of blip it with the core of my toe instead of my actual heel. If you have the right body, I think the car is great for heel towing, and it's set up perfectly, but it is just a little tight in here. Like I need like a little more to relax, and like I'm getting through it, you know, but no, it needs a little bit more, I think, in my opinion. It has the slightest little burbles between shifts. They're not loud. They're not loud, but they're there, and it's very satisfying when you get them. Now, what's amazing about this car is Will picked this up used. I don't remember how many miles it had on when he bought it, but it's got 57 now. He drives it a decent amount. He drives this car a lot. You wouldn't know it by looking at it because it's always immaculate. I don't know how he keeps his cars this clean, but Will thoroughly loves detailing. So he always has these cars looking immaculate. Between the RS and this, they're just always very, very clean. He does a good job with that. So it's nice to, if you, like I said, if you looked at it, you wouldn't think he drives it at all, but he drives it all the time, and that's what this car wants. This car wants to be driven. It wants to be abused, for lack of a better word. It enjoys being driven hard. And I feel like what's so terrible is the fact that so many people that buy these cars, they don't really drive them. They try to keep the miles down and, oh, I want good resale value. You don't buy a sports car to not enjoy it. I get if you're like a collector and, you know, you want to build value in it, it's an investment. I get it, but I don't agree with it. These cars are built to be enjoyed. That's what they're there for. They're not there to sit. So these people that don't drive these things, I don't think they even know what they're missing out on. You know, I mean, these cars are just, it's so much fun getting in this every single day. I mean, you know, maybe something like this you wouldn't want to drive every single day. I will say, again, for me, it's a little tight here. I'd like something a little bit bigger. I think a 911 would be a little more in my speed just for the size of it. But, you know, you make do, I guess. Had to short shift it there a little bit. I don't like doing that, but sometimes you gotta. Now I'll show you with the valves closed. I don't know how well it's gonna come up on camera, but if I do close the valves, it still makes a decent amount of noise. And that's how this car should have sounded from the factory, but it didn't. It literally, as he put it, sounded like a sewing machine. And it was a disgrace to the Porsche name, in my opinion. I don't know why they didn't give it that little bit more. I think that the way it sounds with the valves closed would have been perfect for when it came out of the factory. But I suppose being it's entry-level Porsche, that a lot of people are looking for something, or they don't want to outshine anything else. You know, there are aftermarket options for these cars. As you can see, he has it on there. So it's something that you can fix if you really want to, which he went and did. Now, I'm gonna drive the car and get it on a little bit of a twisty road. It's not much, it's not great, but it's not bad. You know, it'll kind of I can kind of talk about it a little bit from there. Because again, I haven't really put it on anything too twisty. There's not much in my area, unless you guys that have seen the videos before, we go out west for the day. You know, there's a lot of twisty roads out there. There's not a lot like that in Central Mass. It's just not a thing. So you gotta kind of go hunt, you know, look for these roads and hunt them down, because you're not finding them where you live, unfortunately. Everything you touch in this car it feels premium. I feel like a lot of high-end cars, you look at something, I know that it's different because it's a different manufacturer and stuff like that. Japanese high-level cars, American high-end cars, they don't have the feel that something like this Porsche does. Everything that you touch in this car feels expensive. The leather feels good. Even though I know a lot of these cars have like leather bolstering on the sides, the middle is like something else. I don't know about this car. I know Audi does that with a lot of their cars. Actually, not Audi. BMW does it with a lot of their cars. It's bolstering on the sides, that's leather. And then the inner part is like a pleather. A lot of manufacturers will play with that wording to, you know, get people to think that it's more high-end, but it's not. And Porsche everything feels quality. It feels like everything's centered around the driver. Everything that you touch just feels high quality. And I don't think you get that with a lot of cars these days. I know in the past, you know, back in the day, people used to build things at quality, and they don't do that anymore. It's unfortunate. I don't think the camera does this exhaust justice. It's just such a symphony back there. It's absolutely, it sounds like an exotic car. It does. Like, it sounds like a true exotic. It's so smooth. It's so crisp. There's just not a flaw within the sound. It's just one of the most beautiful cars I've ever heard. Absolutely beautiful. Just the gear changes alone. Oh my God, it's so beautiful. I can't get enough. I don't know how you drive it with the valves closed. I don't. Even if you're not in the mood for it, I don't know how you can't be in the mood for it. I don't know if that even made that much sense. I have to have one. I keep saying to myself, you know what, I really want a V8 next. I really want to get into a Corvette. I'm gonna have to get one of these. I'm gonna have to. I told Will he's not getting it back. He said to me, he goes, yeah, I thought I was gonna have to send the repo guy down there to get it from you. He might have to. I'm not sure I can give this car back. I'm not sure I can. I am having too much fun. And I don't want to get out of it. I don't. I went out to dinner last night with some friends and I'm like, gotta go. Come on, let's go. Let's get out of here. I want to get back in the car. I didn't want to get out of it. I absolutely love this thing. Now, it's not one of those cars that you can buy and even really take to the country club to go golfing, because you can fit maybe a bag in here if you want to put it in the passenger seat, but good luck bringing anybody else with you. It's not going to happen. There's just no room for it. You wouldn't think a vehicle could bring somebody this much joy, but it does. Just the input, the steering is tight, but it's not like you're fighting it. You know, when I turn into a corner on the Subaru, it's fighting. It's tight, but it fights to go back center. It does, like almost like it doesn't want to turn. Porsche doesn't do that. You put the input in, and the wheel just it trusts you. It's like the Subaru or a number of other vehicles I've driven. They don't trust you. You turn the wheel, and it's like, no, stay straight. Are you sure you want to do that much input? The Porsche is just like, whatever you think is right. Whatever you think is the right amount of input, I agree with you. And I'm on your side. I trust you. You don't get that with a lot of cars. They don't do that. Oh God, just that sound every single time. And over these bumps, it's like, when you drive a lot of like cars with stiffer suspension, whether it's factory or aftermarket, you really don't get a choice. Even if, I should take that back, there are some cars that offer a button, you know, it stiffens up the suspension a little bit, and you know, the other button softens it a little bit. But this car doesn't give you that option. It just knows. When you want to put it into a corner fast, it hugs it, and it takes it, and it just sticks to the road. But when you want to just cruise down the highway, or some of the worst roads that I've ever seen, which are mostly in Massachusetts, it's okay with that too. And it's soft, and it's not aggressive. It doesn't hurt your back. The car is so comfortable. And again, I don't really fit in here, and the car is comfortable. Again, I'm not moving fast through any of these corners. These ones are a little tighter. But just the feel of the car through these corners is just incredible. And like I said, I'm not really driving it hard. Just every gear change is it's just there. You can hear the mechanics, the mechanical parts of the transmission going into the places they're supposed to be. You hear it, and you feel confident with everything that you do in this car. Whether it's gear changing, whether it's turning into a tight corner, whether I haven't slid it yet, but based on what Will says, you feel confident doing this stuff. The car, as he has said before about other vehicles, it makes you feel like the hero. It makes you feel like a hero. It can make anyone feel like a hero. I know he said that about the GT4, but I feel like it kind of fits here. You know, you drive this car and you feel like the main character in the movie. This is what you do. Like Tom Cruise said in Risky Business, Porsche, there is no substitute. And he was right. I know that was the tagline in the 80s for the car, but he was right. They were right. There is no substitute. I don't know why they don't bring that back. BMW says they're the driving machine. They're not. I'm sorry. It's not. Porsche is. Porsche is the driving machine. I know Will's watching this. I'm not gonna be, I know by the time you're watching this, you have it back in your garage. But just know it wasn't easy. I didn't want to send it back. I woke up this morning, I looked outside, and it was still sitting in the driveway. I'm like, just looks good there. It just looks good at in the driveway. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. I think I'm probably gonna end it there. There's a lot of videos out there that'll break down this 2006 Boxster. There's plenty of reviews out there if you want all the nitty-gritty facts. If you just enjoyed watching me enjoy myself, throw a thumbs up on the video. And let me know in the comments if you've driven one of these. Do you wish you could? Have you driven a nicer Porsche than this one? You know, what's your opinion on it? Because, again, I had a pretty negative opinion on them from the start, but that's because I didn't give them a chance. And it's kind of made me, over the years of getting older and getting the opportunity to drive more vehicles, I've realized that you kind of need to give everything a chance, because there's cars that I've put down in the past that I really shouldn't have, and this being one of them is one of the most fun cars I've ever driven. So drive everything. Don't stick to what you think you like. Drive everything. I can almost guarantee you will find something you like about it. And of course, I mean, that applies to like probably a lot of sports cars. I don't know if you're gonna go out and buy a brand new F-150 and be like, you know what, I really like it. You might not find it with that, but I just mean performance vehicles and stuff like that, or honestly, I guess anything, drive an old pickup truck, drive a truck from the 60s. You're gonna find something about it interesting. They don't make things like that anymore. But like I said, that's gonna wrap it up. I will catch you guys in the next video. Have a great rest of the day.